All right, so we're going to take a look today at on The Athletic. There's an article written. It's a long form profile, this deep dive about Troy Aikman. And so last night we're listening to Troy Aikman on Monday Night Football. He's really had a wonderful broadcasting career. But what's fascinating is this article, talks about the drive that he has had going back to when he was growing up, and his dad put a lot of pressure on him too, and in many ways positively put in, the mentality of hard work and being driven. And so what has kind of transpired throughout his life is he's experienced a lot of success. A lot of things have gone his way. He won 3 Super Bowls with the Cowboys. You talk about 30 years. Well, when they won, it was all about Troy and leading that team and, of course, the players around him. But he set the tone and was key to all that. So here's what the article says. It says, the success everyone saw masked the inner turmoil no one knew about. Aikman's wrestled with it for decades, warring against his own happiness, chasing a finish line he isn't even sure exists. And in his own words, Aikman put it like this: contentment was always a 4-letter word. I never wanted to be content. I didn't want to be around anyone who was content. That's just not a place I could land. And so the article describes how disciplined he is and has been, his intensity, his drive, his desire to get better, and just this desire to keep pushing himself. And so even now, all these days later, all these years later, playing days are way over, he wants to be the best at broadcasting. He still wants to be in tip-top shape. And so he's obsessed, and he actually likes to be coached, even as a broadcaster. He wants producers around him and executives around him that push him and coach him, and wants to be coached just as hard as he was when he was playing. And so his competitive juices still are flowing. He's still this competitive guy. And so, Brian, as we talk about this from kind of the athlete standpoint, we'll relate it more to our life in a little bit. But this idea of athletes, the very best are so driven to a level that in many ways we can't even comprehend. But it's so hard for them to never turn it off. And along the way, it's just sort of eye-opening to think, man, Aikman didn't even want to be content. That was almost, it was a 4-letter word. It was something he just couldn't be around, which is fascinating.
Right. Yeah, he couldn't enjoy the success he had, which we think it's like, man, if I had won 3 Super Bowls, or if I had any, even just a fragment of his success, certainly I would be happy. And you realize a lot of these guys, whether it's him, whether it's Tom Brady, it's almost like it's about the drive. It's about the what's next. And I remember on a small scale as a pastor, that feeling after Sunday, I would go through what I called PMS, post-ministry syndrome, happened every Monday. And it was like it didn't matter how many accolades I might have gotten from the message. It didn't matter if my wife actually said, this is really good. I could not enjoy the moment of delivery. And I wonder, contrast that with Eric Liddell, the story about, the runner, from England or from, where was he from? Ireland, Scotland, anyway, from Great Britain. And he was in the Olympics. And when he was talking about his running, he says, when I run, I feel the pleasure of God. Like there was this sense of, I'm just enjoying the gifts that I've been given. And it was like for Troy, I don't think he ever saw those as gifts. I mean, the drive, the athleticism, it was something to be worked at constantly and never something that you could actually just enjoy. And I don't know the balance between that, because without the drive, you don't have the Super Bowls. And yet at the same time, it feels like that success robs you of contentment because you're just thinking about the next success.